Welcome back, everyone. Surah 33:40 states, Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but the messenger of God, and the seal of the prophets. God has knowledge of everything. In David Power's biography of Zayd, he says, Islamic sources report that the early community of believers experimented with the formulation of the seal metaphor and its placement in the so-called Uthmanic Codex, so-called because the text itself is no longer extant. As noted, the sole Quranic witness to Muhammad's status as the seal of the prophets in the Uthmanic Codex is found in verse 40 of Surah 33. There is reason to believe, however, that this was not always the case. This is because in the Codex of Ubayy ibn Ka'b, Surah 61:6 is reported to have read, "And recall when Jesus, the son of Mary, said, 'O children of Israel, I am God's messenger to you, bringing you an announcement of a prophet whose community will be the last one among the communities, and by means of whom God seals the messengers and the prophets.'" This reading would be a problem, since the prophet would be understood, of course, by Muslims to be Muhammad, but in no way could his community be said to be the last community. Let's read the standardized text of Surah 61:6 and note some differences. "And recall when Jesus, the son of Mary, said, 'O children of Israel, I am God's messenger to you, confirming the Torah that was revealed before me, and giving you good tidings of a messenger who will come after me, whose name will be more praiseworthy.' And when he brought them clear proofs, they said, 'This is clear magic.'" In Ubayy's reading, Jesus announces a prophet whose community will be the last one among the communities, and the means by which God will seal the messengers and the prophets. The standardized version says nothing about the seal of the prophets or the coming messengers' community being the last of the communities. Rather, the standardized version has Jesus confirming the Torah and predicting the appearing of a coming messenger. It's clear that Ubayy's reading is untenable. It cannot be said of the Quran's prophet that his community will be the last. The eschaton did not happen. Many communities have come and gone since the time of Muhammad. The variant in Ubayy's reading was dug up by Arthur Jeffrey in a manuscript in Spain and is not particularly well attested in Muslim sources. However, some scholars have noted that the variant deserves consideration. There are at least two good reasons why. First, as we've noted, Ubayy's reading contains a failed eschatological prediction. It's difficult to imagine the Muslim community later fabricating a reading that contains a failed prediction and then attributing that prediction to Ubayy. So, whether this variant belongs to Ubayy or not, its eschatological flavor makes it appear very early. An additional reason is something called the Last Emperor legend. Some believed that Rome was the last empire before the second coming of Christ. Its emperors were supposed to pave the way for the eschatological kingdom of God. This sounds very much like Ubayy's variant. David Powers detects this legend in at least three relevant sources, one in the 4th century, one in the beginning of the 7th century, and one at the end of the 7th century. Powers notes that Ubayy's version of Surah 61:6 is eschatological, and it modifies the last emperor legend in two key respects. The figure who will inaugurate the eschaton is not a king of the Greeks, but an unnamed prophet, and the last empire becomes the last Ummah. So is this important variant Ubayy's? Or did it come from some other 7th century codex? Or did it come later on? What we can conclude is that it fits right in with the eschatological dynamic many scholars have observed in early Islam and in the relevant 7th century geopolitical context. And the variant certainly could not have enjoyed a privileged position in the standardized Quran, since it made a prediction that never materialized. By the way, David Powers' observations about the last emperor motif sound a lot like an article by Tommaso Desai, which also deals with 7th century eschatology and a prediction in the Quran. To see what I mean, check out this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.